why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we've fallen in love. why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day you're falling in love. why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. Why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Vatican Festival. We're here on Tuesday, the 22nd, 23rd of June, and we've got another day of great programming. We've actually already been live for a couple of hours today. We've been having a workshop running, which has been a brunch for the Wechselwerk cross-border project between northern Germany and southern Denmark. And we've got some more great sessions coming up, including a workshop from Sophie McPurium later on this afternoon, and a session with Lars Muller, a talk by him later on this evening. We've also got part of our coding education program this afternoon, and a real treat. Gilin Gurin is going to be talking to us about how to create or harvest collective intelligence. That's coming up at 12. But now, for our first talk of the day, I'm delighted to introduce some new speakers to the Vatican stage. We have Jörg Gross and Matthias Hensgen, who are from Consist Software Solutions, a software development company here in Kiel. And they're going to be talking to us today about cloud native development. So if we could get 4 of us up on the screen, Joshua is doing the build misher, the mixing today. And so let's get, here we go. Great. So hello, Jörg. Hello, Matthias.
Hello. Hello, Tim.
Okay, great. Okay, you both sound good. You look good.
Okay.
We've got your presentation here ready as well. So I think it's all I can do now is just hand over to you and say we're looking forward to hearing about cloud native development, and the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, welcome everybody to the cloud development in the cloud talk, and with a focus on cloud native. Matthias and I will guide you through some important aspects of the cloud. As Tim already said, we both work at Consist Software Solutions.
Mute one of them. Mute one.
A few hundred meters away from the on-site.
From the on-site location from the MFG5 area. Matthias and I work quite a few years with cloud technologies and had gained some experience in this technologies, and so we're happy to share the knowledge with you. We both take turns. Matthias will explain the conceptual cloud topics, and then I will try to complement that with more practical examples. And at the end of the talk, we will have some time to answer your questions. For the practical examples, we created an web application special for this event. The intention of the web application is to bring back some of the spirit of the past Watercan festivals located at the MFG5 area on site. It's in memory of the missing food trucks, especially the food truck that sells fish protein that I enjoyed very much. That's why we created the famous fish protein app. This app will be used throughout this talk to show how the cloud things work using a practical example. The app is based on a fictive business idea to gather the data about the preferences of people for fish protein, so that we can use this data to roll out the global fish protein market sometime in the future. But let's start simple. We will start simple with an MVP. An MVP, minimum viable product, will provide the minimum functionality we need for our use case. The thing here, the functionality here is that we will gather data about fish scraping of just a local event, and that will be this event here. So at the end of the talk, you will have the opportunity to use this app and vote for your favorite fish bridge. Be curious for this world premiere. Yeah, beside the functional requirements, we defined some more requirements for this app. It should be developed in a cloud-native way because it should be used as an example for this talk. We should minimize the costs and to speed up the development time because, yeah, we had a very tight schedule for that. Yeah, that's all about the first Protein app. And now I hand over to Matthias, who will introduce the cloud basic things.
Yeah, we start with some cloud basics, what makes it really different going application development to the cloud. And we have a first look at what are the characteristics which make cloud development different from on-premise development. And we switch to the first difference, which is in the next slide. One of the key difference compared to on-premise development is that everything in the cloud is self-service. There are no human interaction required. When I want to spin off a new computer, a new server, I make a mouse click or run a script, and everything is running without contacting people. I also could destroy stuff when I don't need it anymore, which simplifies really the development process. For example, as a software developer, I always have the problem to get some test resources running my code on specific servers, and when I go to the cloud, I have a mouse click and can spin off new machines to test my stuff. That's really appealing for the development side of the process. And the next key characteristics of the cloud is that we have a high performance network connection. Everything in the cloud is based on the network connections. And this is quite interesting for companies or people who live in
Is the stream up? Hello. Hey everybody. Sorry, did you hear me shout, is the stream up? I'm back because we just went black screen on on everything that was coming from Jörg and Matthias there, which means that I'm gonna have to freestyle for a while. So let me just I'm going to communicate with the build misher a little bit, and actually what we'll do is we'll go back and play a little music and show you a great scene of Kiel looking out over the MFG5 area here where we have our studio, and we'll put up we'll just put up a little message to say that we will be back in a few minutes. I'll come back, give you an update as soon as we get a picture back from them. So, Joshua, if you'd like to push up the on hold screen, it would be super nice.
tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we've fallen in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, so I'm going to try and use my powers of influence over the internet to summon back Jörg and Matthias now. Jörg and Matthias, are you back with us? Jörg and Matthias, can I see you somehow? You're coming. They're coming. Believe me. They are coming. There was a bit of a internet outage here somewhere in Friedrichsort, but good. Look. Okay, so gentlemen, I'll leave it to you to carry on.
Okay. Then I will proceed. We had lost just half an hour, so we jumped to the end of our talk. Let's just check here where we are. Before we proceed, we would give you the opportunity to test the app. It's fischbrötchen-rot.de, and you can log in there with a username. You can freely choose and access to WaterCon 2020, and then you can slide through the presented Fischbrötchen and then vote by clicking on a five-star bar like it is in Amazon. Okay, maybe you enjoyed that. Why you may click through the application. We will proceed with the risks of cloud computing that Matthias will explain you.
Yeah, we started talking about network connection. We had to practice and see what happens when the network connection is not good. And there's a lot of advantages going to the cloud, but also some risk. And we'll have a look at the major risk when you develop something as a cloud native stuff. And one of the things when you develop cloud native stuff is when you use a lot of special functionality for a specific cloud like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, you may run into trouble when you want to change this application. For our Fischbrötchen app, it seems not be a big problem because it's not so huge. But as a company, when you decide to develop something cloud specific, and in the long term you decide to go to another cloud, you should be aware that you only use the basic stuff. And when you use special functionality, that you assure you have an idea how to avoid this vendor lock. Otherwise, you are stick to a specific company. And the next risk, it's a basic risk when you run something in the public internet, security. It's in cloud, it's a little bit different, but the security risks are maybe the same, but you should be aware how the security model of your specific cloud provider works in detail. Otherwise, you get some bad experience because you unintentionally set something public, which you do not want to do. And therefore, you should have a strong understanding when going to the cloud what security in your specific cloud environment means. And now I will hand over to Jörg, who show us the security aspects of the fish protein app.
And security, because for this use case of this MDP, the vendor lock is really no problem. Furthermore, we use a DevOps tool. It's called Terraform. With that will make it easy for us to switch to another provider, another cloud provider, relatively easy. And the implementation is also mostly cloud agnostic, so we have no vendor lock problem. Security we had also no problem with, because we have no sensitive data. We store no sensitive data. We don't store any personalized data, and we secured the app with HTTPS and other things. So on the secure from the security, we're on a good way with the fish bridging app. Yeah, that's the fish bridging thing. And now I hand over back again to Matthias.
Yeah, we make a short wrap up of the parts we have missed due to the internet outage. And as I already started with, when you go to the cloud, you have basically improved availability. The cloud is built about high availability services, and you could get this gain also for your application without spending a lot of efforts and money. And also one of the big advantages I have is scalability. I can start very small, not buying a lot of hardware resources and this stuff. When I got a burst in my traffic, I can easily scale up these things. This is quite appealing for startups and small companies who want to spend a lot of money in hardware and these services. And the next thing which connects to the scalability stuff, I have reduced cost because I only have to pay what I actually use. When something is idling with our fish protein app, we do not have to pay, and we only have to pay for the transactions and the access running. And also we have a reduced cost due to economy of scale, because we need not to hire 2 or 3 administrators to secure our data center, because the cloud provider does all this stuff for us. Therefore, cost is quite an important thing. And last not least, in these times, the most interesting thing from the application view is that we are more agile and more flexible going to the cloud. We can simply spin off new stuff. We can test stuff quite easily, which are complex to install in on-premise solutions. And therefore, we can develop the business more easily because everything is smarter and simpler to use. That's the basic advantages when we go to the cloud. And I will hand over to Jörg for a sum up of the fish protein app.
With the fish protein app, we get out of the box scalability and availability, because we use the cloud services, and the cloud services have this built in. So we don't have to do anything for that by ourselves. It's just a configuration thing. Furthermore, we use this this Lambda stuff that is function as a service, and that makes the whole runtime model very scalable too. Concerning flexibility, when you develop applications in the cloud and you do it the cloud native way, as we do, what means that you design and implement the application for the cloud architecture and use all the services that the cloud provides, then you need a tool, a DevOps tool. And DevOps means that development and operations somehow meld together. And with this Terraform tool we use, you can define all the resources you need in the cloud, and you can create and destroy the whole application instance on the fly. You can just type in a command, and then the application starts or it tears down completely. So the whole deployment thing is documented in this tool. This is the scripting tool, and also you can hand over this thing to someone else, and he can start the application without deeper knowledge of what is defined in this tool. That's a very cool thing to use here. Yeah, concerning the cost, I'll show you. I've just switched my screen. Just a second. What is that? Oh, sorry. Why does this not move? Just a second. So I will join the AWS Management Console. This is a web interface from AWS where you can configure and monitor and create all the cloud resources of your account. We can take a look into the cost thing of our Fish-Brötchen app, and just a second. So we started with the development nearly 10 or 14 days ago. You see we had created cost of $25. That is not so much. I let the application run through the weekend, and to see here when nobody works with it, we're about $1 costs. Here's a high peak, about $11. That was when I ordered the Fish-Brötchen -vote.de domain that cost $9. So you see from the cost perspective, we're on a fantastic way here, I think. Yeah, that's what the cloud is all about. Yeah, then let's see the voting results. I'm not sure if anybody has had the opportunity to vote. I'll switch back to the browser. I will log in to the app. There's a special admin access that only I know. So, and it looks like the Räucherlachs Fish-Brötchen is the famous one. Yeah, quite a few votes here. Yeah, maybe we can we enjoy real Fish-Brötchen next year again on the on-site location at the MFG5. But nevertheless, I think the WaterCon team has done a really great job to make this event online happen. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think we're at the end of our talk now. We're a little bit too early, but I'm not sure if there are any questions. Otherwise, we would hand over to Tim.
Yeah, yeah. I don't hand over yet. If you can hear me, there's a couple of questions which come to mind, which I can which I'd like to ask. So you just showed a cost illustration there. So this was $25 for running the operation or running this app over, say, like about 3 weeks or something like that, 2 or 3 weeks. If I had wanted to put the infrastructure together, like a bought on-premise solution that would have enabled me to create and run that app, how much would I have had to spend, just like outlay, just roughly?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm not an operations guy. What we have to do is that we would need to order a virtual machine from our internal IT, and then we would set up a database instance. We would need a database license. We would then maybe when we would run it on premise, we would also need some stuff to install a web server. Also, there are from the deployment and the setup, the cost would be very high, and it's maybe the runtime costs. I'm not sure if they are maybe they compare to that. But the whole setup thing is much more complex, and you have to do everything by hand. Here we just execute the script, and the application is online. And yeah, it's much more effort in the maintenance and deployment thing.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, I think it could be. I think if you're really starting from the ground up, like you could spend a fortune on the metal that's required and everything to like put the whole stack together. So, well, another question for you regarding your customers. What's the adoption rate like? Like, do you do all of your work like this now, or do you still have customers who prefer to have like on-premise deployments?
I think most of our customers have on-premise deployments at the moment, but we see that the demand for cloud services and cloud application is rising in the past month or the past year. It somehow depends if it is of the how big is the company. What we call the Mittelstand, I think, is not so cloud affine. But we started the first project there also already. And the bigger companies are, I think they all already use cloud services on some scale.
Yeah. I think this is something that we've heard quite a lot. Is this idea that sort of at the startup level and at the larger corporate level, the cloud adoption is high, whereas in the Mittelstand there's still a fat belly of on-premise left, like using less of kind of modern solutions.
Yeah.
Which is an opportunity.
Older applications, they have problems to shift it into the cloud very fast, and the newer stuff is going to the cloud, but the older stuff have to be converted, and that's the basic stuff.
Yeah.
But I also see that Corona pushes a lot of people into the cloud because it's easier to run your computer center with people centralized, and you have 2 shifts of people doing this stuff, and you have to organize it by yourself. It's quite complex stuff. Therefore, I suppose that the Corona forces the trend to the cloud.
Yeah, we've heard that, but we've done as much digitalization in the last 2 months as we've done in the previous 2 years. So, super. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really nice, and come back next year and do it in person. And then if the internet breaks, then there'll be no interruptions.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
So, Matthias, thank you so much, and we'll say goodbye now and see you soon. Okay.
Okay.
And
bye-bye.
Just for everyone else who's out there, we'll be back at 12 with Gillen Guren, who is going to be talking to us about moving us towards being able to work with collective intelligence. It's going to be a super interesting talk. So come back at 12. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day you're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day you're falling in love.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to VATCAT Festival 2020. I'm Tim, and it's my great pleasure to be able to introduce our last session for this morning. And yeah, I'd like to introduce you to Ghislaine Guerin. She is a designer, a polymath designer. And hey, Ghislaine, great to see you. Yeah, I can't hear anything from you yet, but just get your sound faded up. How now?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, super. So, yeah, I can hear you now. So, great. Thanks so much for joining us today. I was just giving a quick introduction. You're a designer, and really this talk is kind of going to encompass design and philosophy and artificial intelligence and education. And yeah, we met not that long ago, like with kind of connected to the Chaos Pilot course, and it's actually really started talking then. And when you first showed me this project, I was really blown away. So I'm really delighted that you're willing to come and share it with us today. So I'm going to hand over to you now so you can make a presentation, and then we can come back and have a chat in half an hour or so. So,
Excellent.
Ghislaine, the stage is yours.
There, just one thing, Tim, I'm getting feedback from what I'm talking. Like, I hear myself.
I hear you're getting feedback. Joshua, we're getting
Yeah.
feedback here. Is there anything we can do? Have you got your sound muted on two devices? Because I know you've got two things going there.
Yeah, no, it's
Where is your
muted
sound?
on the iPad. It's muted and it's on my computer.
Yeah. So what if you turned off your audio and then you didn't have to listen to anything? Because you don't need any sound from me until later.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I probably won't listen to you, but you said 30 minutes, so.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Go.
Okay. So what we're talking about today is collective intelligence. So I try to create this presentation in so many different ways, where I wanted to explain the concept and show how it is applied. And in the end, I realized that my frustration when I hear collective intelligence being discussed, and it's been discussed for a long time now, is that people just talk about the actual concept and how it will change everything and how we should start doing it now. But I haven't seen so much on the practical side. It feels like, at least from my perspective, as like, they're trying to get us excited about something, and then you never go out from those presentations feeling that, is this something I can start doing tomorrow? So my goal here is to, at the end, like I probably discarded around 20 presentations and ended up just, let's just show it. Let's just show people how I'm doing it. And I decided that I would, try to, because collective intelligence can happen in different ways. And the way I'm presenting it now is in the context of collaboration. So this is for collective action. So basically you have a group of people who want to create something, and they will do it in a collective fashion. That means, in this case, if it's they're writing a book. So the project I am implementing right now, it's for a group of people who are looking to write a book together, and they're all part of learning innovation initiatives, and they came together because they feel that, if they build this together, then it's much more meaningful, because it reflects a lot of the values that learning innovation is talking about right now. And I found that it was an excellent opportunity for me to try and, apply some of the tools that I've been applying for myself, and, creating that challenge where is this going to help people collaborate better and eliminate some of the biases that I personally experienced that when working with teams. And so for me, it was when I discovered this concept about playing positive sum games, it just made me realize why in some companies, when you are trying to create something together, there will be people who will choose a strategy of, I'd rather win and have others lose than risk myself to losing with others, which leads to, most of the conflicts that we see can arise at companies, where competition and running towards some KPIs will make it will make it easy for you to put your own interests above others. So that's something I care deeply about. So I will explain the basic concept of what a positive sum game is. And I think the best example I've seen is this example where, imagine you have you are with some hunters, right? And you need to find food source. So you have two choices in this. Like you can either go by yourself and hunt rabbits. Like, they don't have that much meat, but in the end you're probably going to be satisfied, but you will have to keep hunting those rabbits. Or you could agree that you all together will hunt a deer, and that would mean a higher a game for everyone. Even those who might not be fast enough to chase after the rabbits, they might join in and they could all hunt the deer. And that would mean more meat for everyone. It's a better outcome, it's a better use of your energy. But if one of the hunters decides that they will hunt a rabbit instead, even though they had agreed to go hunting the deer, that means they will make noise and chase away the deer for everyone. So they win, everyone loses. There is no way to know, until you're there hunting and until you achieve the outcome, there is no way to know whether every player will play the same strategy. So how do we create that opportunity space? How do we build that affordance into collaboration tools so that people will choose a strategy that creates a win for everyone? So basically, it's how do we become the deer hunters and not defect and chase after the rabbits, basically. So like I said, this I will just take you through this, even though it looks a bit complicated. It's not that complicated. So I'll explain the basic premise behind this. So we have around 30 writers. In this case, they are the co-authors of the book. And what happens is every day as they write, all of their content comes here, and it gets parsed, and content is extracted. And then there's this what I call the magic box. So it generates a word matrix, and it sort of creates what is the basis for the analysis of different things. So first is it will all the content that they have written during the day, and this includes murals that they might have created. It includes their recording of their Zoom calls that are transcribed. So it's like a mixture of all the activity between the authors. And then there will be many things that come out of this. And one is that there will be sentences that are classified. There is a word matrix. Tags are created based on the content. And one of the parts here is that there are daily recommendations. So what this means is based on the input from the authors every day, there are recommendations that are generated by that content. So that happens because you find words. So during the day they have there are around 10 teams, and they will write things. And based on the richness of the vocabulary they bring into the content, and that means there is like an originality score. So what does what does that mean? So it's not a score as in, oh, you wrote 1,000 words, so now I am rewarding you. The thing is, you're not, there is not an incentive for you to start just writing because you wanna have you wanna be on the spotlight the next day. Because even if you try to do that, there are, this score is not calculated on that basis. It's calculated on a score that not only looks at how original your word is on your document, but you also need to have a lot in common with all the others. So you cannot deviate so much that you create a completely different text, because the idea of writing a book together is that you will have multiple authors, but you want to have a single text. So in this case, the affordance of this opportunity space is that in order for my topic and my words to become relevant, I also need to incorporate everyone else's ideas. Otherwise, my words won't be scored the same as everyone else, and it will be like, this will make it obvious that you are not following the general direction. But this doesn't mean that you because you also don't want to create that situation where you have someone just everyone writing the same thing. But this also takes care of that, because it also rewards people who are starting to diverge or show that they're expanding on ideas. So it also doesn't allow for what I call, what they define as group thinking, where people in groups try to harmonize and they just stop following their original ideas. And the way this works is every day, based on what everyone wrote, there will be a number of books that are recommended, and this is based on those words that sort of deviated the most from the group, as in new ideas that are coming to life, but also they were building on top of existing ideas. So it takes the previous sample and compares with today, and then finds what those new branches are, and based on that it provides content every day. And what you see usually is, for example, this is the snapshot for today, and there we start to see some science concepts and then high-tech concepts. And because the book is about education, every day you can see how you are touching on different sectors, which is very important, because even though 30 people are writing this, the group itself has around 300 or 400 members, and they all come from different sectors, where learning innovation is not restricted to just, it's not restricted to just one sector. So one of my goals was to, do not write this just for ourselves. As we are part of a group, we have a responsibility to include the voices of different sectors and not create something that will just push our own message. So in a way, these recommendations also show the work that we're doing, including not only education, but sometimes you will have recreational sectors in games, or sometimes arts will show up. And every day this changes, and it sort of shows that our ideas are not unique, which is a good thing, because usually when humans came together to discuss ideas, it wasn't really about just, I want to push my idea here, and it was because you were missing a piece. And sometimes in conferences there would be someone who had that missing piece. So again, if we do this together, if we really find that if we include all other sectors instead of pushing my own sector as the one driving this, then I'm becoming a hunt. I'm hunting deer again instead of going and chasing. Because if everyone doesn't grow, then the learning innovation efforts are meaningless. So basically everything is transparent. So when a book has been recommended, everyone can see what is driving that recommendation for the day. And so that's the part about books. And now we get into so what happens with those books, right? How do they relate to the content that is being written? Because I think that's also important, is to see how those ideas are built. And one of the things I care about the most and is the notion that we build on top of other, like, ideas from others. And I've been doing design thinking for a long time, and that was one of the tenets of design thinking. What we were taught was, you need to build on top of others' ideas. And what usually happens, and what I'm seeing, is just this small team of people just coming up with, reinventing the wheel every time when they're doing design thinking, and not really bringing other ideas to build on top of. So we're just wasting a lot of human energy, I feel. So what are we doing here? So we get those recommendations again, and they go through this processing where we find the intersections, which is, I think, the most interesting part. So we had a book that I found that it was interesting today. It's called 100 Seconds to Midnight, and it's from a group of scientists that they formed this right after the nuclear, the atomic bomb was invented, and they decided to sort of create awareness around man-made threats to civilization. And this book came up today. It's like, how can that be related? Like, where are we taking a turn where we're touching on something that seems so out of place with education and learning? So going back here. So what happened is, so you can actually see where that intersection happened. And there was a group about experiential learning, and they were talking about laboratories and the scientific process. But it also connected to the notion of empathy. So now we're talking about, okay, now I see where that book came from. So these are scientists who created things that, they did not apply empathy. So being capable of doing something, and even ourselves with learning innovation will probably run a lot of experiments. And, does that mean that everything is right? And, what is it that we as humans can use technology for? So it seems appropriate that book, came up. So there are many other, and I think this is sort of the core of thing of, writing and feeding back from the world and learning every day. And then if you take something from there and you include it on your text, you're just starting to be more true to the concept of building on top of others. And now, how does that feed back into the group? So I also created this section for activities. So what does that mean is, if you got together, then some groups will have a better defined process for creating something. So if they got together and they figure out a way to, let's say, we need to come up with our headlines. So what we're doing now is, we did this. And so you provide that and you feed that back into the group. So that maybe another group that was stuck can now see in a transparent way what you were doing, instead of us ending up feeling like, I don't know if you ever participated in a hackathon and then you didn't do so great with your team and some other team won. And in the end, all you got is that you invested time, but you don't know what they did that resulted in them coming up with something that was so great. And then, only those who participated in that group were aware of the process. So in the end, they are winning, of course, but the event is not generating, any wins for the teams that lost, even though they might have, a fruitful experience by participating. I think we tend to go towards those narratives of, failure is good, you learn by failure, but you also need, if there was information generated then, and you could have access to what those groups did as a process, then I feel it's much more powerful for everyone. And it doesn't mean that everyone has to lose. So this is sort of that idea, right? If you're faster with your group, you need to make that transparent and you need to make that super easy. And what happens is then, as the sessions are planned, like let's say a team got together and all their mural or the things they generated are become part of this whole, right? So you can go and look at it deeper and see if you find, that they discuss something that you're interested in. It just creates more opportunities for you to start, acting in a more collaborative way. And one of the things that I feel that I like a lot is, so those same tags that are generated by interactions with the teams. Let's say I want to plan a session by myself because I want to talk to the groups about something I care about. So I might have a topic, but I might want to recommend a specific product, or I have, my own, in our industry, we all have our own, sort of the words that we want to push, or concepts, or use a specific terminology. But what this constrains you to do is, if I want to push, let's say I want to talk about using Mural as a tool, right? But I am restricted, as in I cannot tag this as a mural. I have to break it down and say, okay, it's a whiteboard, it's an interactive whiteboard, and I want to talk about adopting new tools. So I'm talking about those that are, adopting innovation tools or whatever. So this is just an example, but those tags are restricted by everything that the group has already discussed. So you have to use the group's terminology, meaning that you cannot push for a specific, complex concept unless you have introduced that to the group. So if during this session I then introduce Mural or other tools, then I will be able to add that as a tag. If I haven't talked about that, I need to use the group's language to refer to it. And that makes you think about ways to simplify. So it's sort of embedded into the system that you cannot push complexity, because complexity is just, gatekeeping, and it's not a very, it doesn't make people act as deer hunters. It just creates resistance. So basically, you see, if I try to have Mural as my tag, it will not let me. So if I try to push a model, let's say, I want to talk about Lego Serious Play because that's my thing. So now I cannot do it. I need to find, playfulness, game, physical. I need to break that down, just so I cannot just talk about my model, but I have to touch into the concepts that, and they should come from the group itself. So that's another thing. And I'll get to because I realize I'm taking quite a while here to explain. But this is the part I'm most excited about is, so now how do you generate, conversation around what people are writing? So one thing that I notice is when you're, I think we all write articles and we all want to post them on LinkedIn, and but basically what we get is, you know, you get a like or you get some other reactions, and we're not, you know, a key ingredient for us to try, you know, to reach out to people and be more in a more collaboration mindset is that we get feedback and we can reflect on that, but that usually is not the case. So what happens here is there is a classifier. So basically there is a machine learning process that that can detect those that are persuasive questions. So if an author included on their text something that they're trying, their intention is to persuade you to think about something or to, you know, it will grab those. But then what it will do is it will send them to a text generator, and that text generator it's going to generate new questions. But the text generator itself, it's trained using the writing that exists as for the whole group. And I know this will be complex, but just bear with me, because so basically this generates, it learns from what is written so far, and then you push them questions. So sort of the book itself is responding to itself and is creating new content. So it goes to the text generator, and then these are, you know, all generated questions from one of the chapters. And what do we do with that, right? Because why do we want all those questions anyway? So now you could, so here's an example of a question generated by this machine. And it's, you know, how do we rethink the traditional education model for professional development and career development? So actually it learned from what was written, and then it asked a question that is like 100% original. It's because it can form, it can understand intention very well. So what can we do now to, you know, in order to create more, you know, of this, let's all collaborate, let's all talk about our ideas, let's challenge our own assumptions. And so basically what we can do here is we could have all the generated questions every day, and you could just plan for this to be posted on your Slack channel and just spark discussion that then could be fed back into the group so that we all learn. But the idea is that if I just use the questions that, you know, the authors have written, it might create, you know, some of, I wouldn't call it tension, but you just want the entire book to just decide. You want to add that level of randomness, so that you're not just speaking. Maybe one of them has better questions. Like, you never know. Maybe they're more experienced about that because they do a lot of debate. So in this case, you're just removing that. It's a machine that's asking, and it will just enable everyone to interact with the content without thinking about the specific person asking that. So here we can see how, you know, you give an input from the text, and then this generator will create content from it. And it's so basically, I guess the point here is that this can go on forever, because it's pretty, the things you can do are limitless, I believe. And in this case, for example, it's again the same content, but this time is using Bloom's taxonomy verbs to understand the instructional goals that people are trying to include on their text. So it basically can find those verbs and show you, learning, being, having, creating, reading, and how does that. So you can pretty much understand intent, and then you could filter that by categories, and you would see what the intention is from the creators, and you could create new sessions, new group activities, let's say, to help a topic move from just applying to actually creating new models. So you could have, just so many opportunities to make sure that everyone reaches their their optimal level of communication. And I think it's 30 minutes already. So I guess the way I sum this up is I think collective intelligence, will only be true through collective intelligence once you've realized that it's, your intelligence is not limited to your own body. It's not trapped in your head. You are also intelligent if you know how to use someone else's intelligence, and they can use yours. And that requires, I think, a change that goes, beyond technology. And it's more of a like Tim said, is more of a philosophy of how I place myself in the world, and how I sort of open that, and I open my mind to others. And so yeah, I think that was pretty much it.
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Ghislaine? Super.
Mhm.
So there are questions. What?
Okay.
So as an author, thank you so much. It's so interesting. It's such a rich kind of tool that you've created there. And I kind of I have questions going in about eight different directions here, obviously. But I guess what's most interesting, for me, is in terms of as a tool, as it's being used by the authors, how much intervention is there required from you to actually help them, support them in the use of the analysis?
Well, basically what you do is, what I did is you don't have to interface with this part. This is sort of like what's happening behind, and that's where tools like Airtable or Slack, it could be anything, because what you create is an interface. So all of that part, let's say about the daily recommendations, or it's just a link that changes every day, and then it has the books, but you're not interacting with them, even though it's open. Like I said, it doesn't require that. You could connect that. You could plug that into anything. Imagine you could have that at a conference, and it would just feed every session the ideas, and then start to generate questions and forums automatically, because you can plug that to any platform, really.
Yeah, hold that thought. We'll come back to that, because that's really interesting, as another application. So we'll come back to that one in a second. But for my experience as an author in this project, I am basically, I am seeing, I'm not looking at the statistical analysis of the words that are being used. I'm just getting prompts in the form of questions and recommendations. What else do I get as my day-to-day experience as an author? What is my experience?
Exactly. So basically, you don't get why would you need words analysis? It wouldn't really. You're creating opportunities. So for example, yes, like you said, there's daily recommendations. That is a much nicer way to say, hey, some of the concepts we're including are really common with performative arts. I think people in theater already did, co-creation better than us. So let's learn from them. If you just put that into numbers, it's not, a book is a way to make that data more tangible, which is something that I want to do. And then you have the questions. It's not just, these are questions generated by this machine. It's just as a question posted on a Slack channel, it's just sparking debate. And what if you and an author created content that is very similar, and there is an opportunity, you could just send a Zoom invite, or it's I think you should talk to this person for 15 minutes. And what if I don't even tell you why? And
yeah, and I think you don't necessarily need to know.
No, Yeah, right. Like
Yeah, I
it's
was going to
because you
say,
would have
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
again the bias, right? It's like, oh, this person is talking about machine learning, and then, well, I also talk about that, and now I'm in a defensive mode, right? Because I don't know what am I going to be challenged with all this? But then if you don't know, you just this person is super nice for you to meet, and you just go there, and maybe you don't even talk about machine learning, but you probably have, you're following a sort of an idea path that might be similar.
Hmm.
So basically,
In
I think
terms
that
of,
to sum that up is like you use the data to create opportunity spaces, which is the key for enabling this positive sum strategies. You need to know what the game is. What are your, just like when you play chess or any game, you have a rules. You cannot just go and move this in this way. So that's why you can play the game without cheating, right? So this is
yeah,
similar.
yeah. Let me ask another question. So in terms of like the output, the final output. So the final output is a book that is written, that has chapters written by different authors, but in a way that it will read as if it is one voice, or one thread, I suppose it should read as.
Yeah.
How far are you with how far is the writing process, and is there any external kind of evaluation, external to your tool, external to the authors, where there is any kind of reporting about what the experience is like to read the book, not knowing anything of what's going on inside and behind the scenes?
Well, I think that's probably going to be, what comes up after they finish writing, because usually what we said is like a month of writing, and then of course they would have to keep interacting with that, and then you can probably, let's say, because like you said, we want the book to feel like a real book. So if you have someone elaborating an idea here, and then you find that in a different chapter they started elaborating again, then you could identify that because of the term density, and then create an additional meeting for, this, how do we turn this into one? And so you keep generating that, and it could be, I feel it just creates solution for conflict at every point, and it just isolates a lot of the things that are not important at in that case. It doesn't matter in which position it will be, or who will be, who owns that idea, I think. But my hope is that by the end of this, and seeing how everything is related, people won't have that. It will just eliminate that notion that we are unique in our way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice. And maybe we could like move from there to other applications. So you talked about using this at a conference. And so I could imagine that, say, if we were able to perform an analysis of everything that had happened over the past 2.5 weeks here so far, we'd be able to build some kind of thread or suggestions for further sessions where there's some kind of commonality of themes. Have you got more thoughts on that? Or
or you could go back to conferences that you attended, and then start connecting your thoughts as well. Like, I feel that the more I think about this, like, I feel like all the energy and time we waste when we bring humans together, especially now when you think about air travel and climate change or whatever. Like, what is the value of people going to Silicon Valley conference, and then nothing is left other than just the talks, right? The YouTube videos. But as we as humanity don't see which sort of ideas converts there, what was born from there, and it just makes you question that. So I think if you could have a conference, keep generating content, and then finding other conferences that are very similar to that. Maybe you don't even need to travel so far, or maybe you find speakers that are, which is a big problem, I think, for conferences, is that most speakers are, they've been just giving the same talk for a long time, and how do we bring in new voices as well? So I also did an experiment with this, because I wanted to find someone to follow on Twitter who was acting in a very divergent way, as in, how can I find someone whose content is just all over the place in terms of they're doing this sort of cross-pollination of industries, and I wanted to see how people behave, and I found someone. And what is crazy is, so I was talking to this person for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, hey, I found you on Twitter, and you're like, what you tweet about is really interesting, that you're all over the place. And the first thing he did is, like, he gave me a link to his own library, and that was very unexpected, because I am a library freak, so I always have, and this is what he decided he would share with me in 5 minutes, his whole research of things, and it's also annotated. And
Yeah, amazing.
that process led me to someone who was acting as he didn't care. Like, I asked him for permission, and I said, can I use your library to analyze how you and I are thinking, and what the topics, where we converge? And he said, like, go ahead. And that was 5 minutes, and I never talked to this person before, and it confirmed everything I thought about this. That that should happen at conferences, and it doesn't. Like, I've been to so many of those, and I just ended up with like a goodie bag and some magnets, I guess.
Yes, right. Something nice for the fridge. Yeah, no, I mean, but there must be so that means we're theoretically, since we've been digitally recording things and we have texts online and videos, we must be sitting on a huge well of resources, of insights, which to come out of
Yes.
the last however many 20 years of conferences, which perhaps some people with certain perspectives got those insights as individuals from attending those conferences, but they were never
Exactly.
manifested in a way
yes.
that then be built upon.
So there is this woman. I was reading her book yesterday, so I don't remember her name right now, but I will send you the book later. But the thing is, she started this project a while ago, that she was going to meet 10,000 people and take pictures with them, and then she just forced herself to do that. And as she was her first day, she said, I'll probably meet like 300 people, and she ended up just talking to 30, because she would be so interested in everything that they have to say that she couldn't stop. And then she found a college student outside of our coffee shop. She was 20, and she told her, like, I'm studying sociology, and because I wanna do art therapy with it was something weird, as in a very niche thing with art therapy applied in a context that she had never heard about that. So she kept that, and every time she took a picture, she wrote down the name and she continued. And later she went into a bar, like later that day, and she met a 40-year-old woman who was writing a book, and she was already very she had a professional level was much higher, and she told her she was doing that exact same thing with art therapy, that other young student thought was just a crazy idea she had. And right next on the same block, there was a lady who was an expert on that. And so the whole story is really nice, and I feel bad that I cannot remember the name, but I just been reading so much. But it just shows you that that's
but
really
it's nice.
what happens in conferences.
And it's so easy, but it's also so easy for people to miss each other as well, like this in in these, you live in the same block, you've attended the same conference, but you're going to come away with a completely different experience. And to have some kind of synthesis and questions and suggestions for who you should meet afterwards, and who you should carry on a discussion with. I think it's really, it's really nice. Do you have another, like a real concrete idea of another project to do, like another instance of this, or to do after the book?
Yeah. No, I think my idea is I would like to see this in classrooms ideally, because I feel a lot of the times the experience is that let's say everyone does a presentation, and then usually what happens is that those that were interesting in a way, but they get more questions, right? And there's usually this one kid at the end of the class, and he just presented and no questions and nothing, right? And I feel that you're not, because of time constraints or what, you're not giving students enough time to be challenged in that way. And I feel like if you don't have that feedback loop, then people are not learning. So I would be interested in maybe what if you could use the question generator, right? And every morning, the students pick from a jar and they talk about something, and it might just help that that one kid who never gets feedback. And so that is something I would really like to see happen here. And then I would also like to introduce a concept of liquid voting into this, so that you could start interacting with it based on delegation systems. So if I feel that someone I just met has something that I would be interested in learning, I could use that person as my own algorithm, because I delegate weight on them for that topic. So the way they consume library and content would also feed into my own, and I can change that. So that's why it's a liquid system. So you could at all times be adjusting, your algorithm.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. We are actually, believe it or not, come to the end of our time here. But it's super nice of you to share this stuff with us. And I'm really, we're going to keep talking anyway, because I'm really interested to see how this developed and what we can, where we can use this somehow. I'd love to see it kind of in the wild doing something. So maybe around our own content that we're producing here might be a good application for it.
I have considered that.
Yeah,
because it's good. All out there, right?
Lovely. Yes, I mean, so this year especially, like, because I
really appreciate this.
We're recording everything this year, so in a way that we haven't done before. So they've just been lost words in the past years, and people might have made some notes, but we don't have any. Now we have a record of everything that's happened, good and bad. So. Okay. Look, thank you very much. I'm gonna move this on. Great to talk. Lovely to see your presentation. Thanks for the effort that you put into it. And we'll talk again soon. And for now,
you, Tim. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. All right. Bye. And now I will just say that's it for us for this morning. We'll be back later on with an education session, and then a session from Lars Muller, who's going to talk to us about Star Trek in business. So thanks a lot. Keep watching, and we'll talk to you later on. Bye for now.
tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day you're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I wanna tell you why I'm doing this. The reason is I can't stop. All you have to do is listen to this. One day we're falling in love. I want to tell you why I'm